Hi everyone. I thought that I would try to help everybody to decide between the 10 different Microsoft Power BI courses that they're now offering, because it's a minefield. So that is the complete list. First thing to say is only one of them is 3 days long. All the blue ones are only 1 day. And the other difference between the PL 300, the 3-day course, and the others is that the PL 300 is designed to prepare people who go on the course for the PL 300 Microsoft Certified Exam. So lots of people like to do that course so that they can get their qualification. The 1-day courses don't have exams associated with them. Okay, so let's now talk about the audience for each of those different courses. First of all of them except for the bottom two, the developer in a day and the administrator in a day, are intended for some kind of analyst who creates reports. And all except the bottom three, so now we're excluding the paginated reports in a day, are for people who want to use the Power BI desktop program for creating all of those lovely charts and interactive reports that you see published on intranet sites on the Power BI service. Those are the things that allow you to understand your data, and there are loads and loads of different kinds of charts you can make in them. The odd one out, the paginated reports in a day, is a bit different. That is actually a completely different program that we're using there, Power BI Paginated Report Builder. And what that does is it's a little bit like making a great big report in Excel that would print over multiple pages, but you can have a parameter at the top of it that restricts the amount of data that it's working on. So for example, you could set the parameter to say, I only want to see the data for May 2021, and then instead of printing out or displaying 121 pages of report, it just displays 3 for that particular month. Okay, so it's a different program, that one. Developer in the day, I think, is the course that people get most confused about. By developer, Microsoft mean programmer. So this course is intended for full-time programmers who, in the blurb that Microsoft has written about the course, need to know at least one of these languages. ASP.NET, which is the Microsoft programming language used for creating websites, C#, general purpose programming language, HTML, which is obviously the foundation of the web, and JavaScript. So they need to know at least one of those languages well and be a proficient creator of programs. That course is intended for those people who would now like to include Power BI reports in their programs as well. So it's very specifically for programmers, not for people who want to make their own Power BI reports. And then administrator in a day is again for a completely different kind of person with a different skill set, just as large organizations employ IT people to make sure that everybody's got the right licenses and programs installed on their computers for running Windows and Microsoft Office. If an organization decides they want to invest in Power BI, those IT people also need to understand how the licensing works for Power BI, how the restrictions need to be applied to make sure that, for example, Power BI developers are not publishing confidential material on the web or breaking GDPR legislation. So it's very much for administrators, not for people who want to make Power BI reports. Now let's break down the courses that are intended for people who want to make reports into different groups of people who are going to do them. The first two are intended for beginners, and you can roughly think of Dashboard in a Day as being like a 1-day version of the PL 300, but of course it's only got 1 day of content in it, so don't kid yourself into thinking that if you do the Dashboard in a Day it costs a third as much and you get all of the content from the PL 300. You don't, you just get a third of it. And then we've got a group of 3 courses that are intended for intermediate to advanced level users of the Power BI system. And in fact, if you put them in that order, if people first of all do advanced data modeling and shaping, then they do DAX in a day, and then they do advanced visualization with Power BI, that would make a fantastic advanced 3-day course in working with Power BI. And then we've got the remaining courses that are intended for specific groups of people. So I've already talked about the paginated reports one. What about the modern Excel analyst in a day? That's intended for people who know Excel very well, but would like to move towards Power BI. And there's a clever transition actually that Microsoft has made with a couple of add-ins that work in Excel that most people don't know about. So it shows proficient Excel users how to move towards Power BI. And then finally we've got a rather naughty course where Microsoft is trying to lure people who use Tableau towards Power BI instead. So this is for people who know Tableau and who would like to know Power BI. So quite a minefield, 10 different courses for different types of people and different purposes. I hope that's helped.